Hi, welcome to my home. This is Louise. My husband and I purchased this American Foursquare built in 1910, 40 years ago. We did almost all the work ourselves. We did not hang the wallpaper, we didn't do the roof or the gutters, but we've done pretty much everything else. This is what we saw when we walked into this home. Take away everything except for the wooden staircase and the window. We had no wall treatment. We had no hardware except for locks on the front and back door. We had plaster falling. We needed a new roof and new gutters, upgrades in plumbing and electrical. But we fell in love with the house. The woodwork was not painted ever. So all we had to do was strip off the shellac. While most of the houses around here had their stained glass stolen, we were lucky. We had a few pieces left. Why wallpaper and not paint? Well, a couple of reasons. Number one, we love it. But number two, we could put Dacron on all the walls and put the wallpaper on top. The Dacron holds the walls together, so as when the house shifts, you don't see the cracks. Picture molding to hold up our pictures. That way we do not put holes into our walls for the most part. We knew to use picture molding because there was nothing on the walls and there were the scars that this once had existed, probably when the house was built. Let me take you now to the parlor. Again, this room had nothing on the walls, no hardware. The light fixtures that we had in this house when we bought it were little better than bare bulbs. So we had to scavenge to find things, which is one of the things we love to do. We went antiquing, we went to auctions, barn sales. Every day was an adventure. It was an adventure to buy this house, it was an adventure to furnish it, and it's an adventure every day. Everything in this house has a story. I could go on for hours and hours. What makes this room interesting, again, besides our collections and our stuff, is the wallpaper. This is a different treatment. We actually have wallpaper on the ceiling. We have it all the borders, and then because you can see it, we have wallpaper, essentially wainscoting. We have had no problems with this wallpaper. This also was hung in 1990, and again, it looks as good as the day it was hung. My husband rewired these old light fixtures which he found in a barn. He refinished them, and that's what we have in all of our rooms for ceiling fixtures, and even some of the side lights we have. We now go to the main hallway, which leads into the kitchen, but I'm going to show you a few things before we get to the kitchen. We did put in a half bath. We only had one bathroom on the second floor and then like a family use bathroom down the basement. It was a difficult time finding this tiny sink, but we were able to do so. And we furnished it with things that we had saved through the years or we had made. Let's go now to the formal dining room. This room has wallpaper completely on the ceiling. Again, it's still Bradbury and Bradbury. This wall ceiling, what we did was we put 3/4 inch drywall on all of our ceilings, really, because they were so badly cracked and the plaster was falling down. Again, more interesting light fixtures that were totally redone. We've got right here, this candelabra is interesting. Some of you may recognize it if you remember the old Albee Theater downtown. This sat on some of the walls as you went down into the theater. This is a fan, and lights dating from the 1920s. It came from a funeral home because you needed ventilation and you needed light. But again, we just furnished it. We've done all the woodwork, all the furniture refinishing. My husband was quite a woodworker. Many of the pieces we bought were not totally functional, hence we were able to get them at a good price. And he rebuilt, refinished. I helped. That's my contribution, was that I helped. And then we move on to another section of the house that we were really excited about. An intact butler's pantry. Many homes, when they were converted to two families, the butler pantry became the bathroom. But we had this totally intact unit right here. These wooden blinds came out of an antique shop in Northside, and they originally were in a convent in Oldenburg. Side note, I have a great aunt who was a nun in Oldenburg, so that was quite the find for me. You can get a little peek at the backyard there. Now we go into our kitchen. The kitchen has many interesting features. We have an island. The island is made with recovered beadboard from an old school that was being demolished in Evanston. We also used reclaimed tin ceiling. It had to be refinished, which is what we did, but it was much easier to install than having to try to repair all the cracks and missing plaster. And the insurance company gave us a break because we have a firewall in our kitchen. Again, more light fixtures, which were restored by my husband. We did some more things. We found this top of a pantry in an antique shop for about 25 bucks. We stripped it because it was a horrible pea green. And then my husband built this unit below so that we could mount it on top. And we wanted to go for a period look. This is a restoration. It is not a remodeling. That is my stove. I use it every day. It can cook a full Thanksgiving meal, turkey, dressing, the whole bit. But it's a 1927 Tappan, which we purchased in Northside from what was then the Antique Stove Museum. The way you regulate the temperature back in the day was you turned the dial to, it said rolls, that's what you used. Our refrigerator also came from Northside. It's a 1932 Westinghouse. It works very well. It has a very small freezer, which is good for 2 ice cube trays. So I have a regular refrigerator and a freezer down in the basement. Another view of the outdoors. So I hope you enjoyed seeing some of the highlights of my house. Warm, it may look like a museum, but once you enter it, you get the feel of the warmth and friendliness of those who live here. So thank you very much. Thank you for coming on the Northside virtual tour. Have a great one. So long.